Hello everyone, welcome to the video today. So we are going to be looking at 4 guitar solos from the performances in Bocchi The Rock. Now we're going to be ranking these from easiest to most difficult, and I'll also do a bit of an analysis of the solos if you are interested to know maybe some of the theory behind them. Now the first guitar solo we're going to be looking at is from that band. Now I actually learned all of these solos based off the album recording, and then I realized it was completely different in the anime. I've had to relearn the solos again. We're going to look at the anime version. Honestly, a really cool solo. First we have this sort of cutting riff that plays to a D minor pentatonic position. And then it comes to this climax where they're using notes sort of based around like an F major position or based around an F major arpeggio. And we're doing some tremolo picking. Now this part in particular is actually a little bit harder than it sounds because we are doing string skipping. So what I mean by that is we're going between string 1, string 2, and string 3 while maintaining a really fast tremolo at 190 BPM. Now my recommendation if you are trying to learn this particular solo, when you get up to the tremolo section, make sure you're using the tip end of the pick as small as possible. Other thing that's really important with maintaining a rhythm is make sure you have a relaxed grip. You don't want to be... You probably don't want to do that because you're probably going to lose the rhythm burning out your right hand. And also there's a higher chance you're going to hit other strings and just have unwanted string noise. Now for this solo, I'm going to put it in the A tier. I think it's one of those solos when you hear it, it doesn't sound too impressive. But to actually play it correctly on the beat, it's actually quite hard with all the string skipping that goes on. And 190 BPM is pretty fast in general. Now the next solo we're going to be looking at is regarded as the hardest solo in Bocchi The Rock, called I Will Never Forget or Never Forget. And honestly, I can see why. If you have no experience with sweep picking, this one's going to be pretty difficult. But if you can sweep pick, is it actually as difficult as it sounds? Now the start of the solo is really cool. It's got a very traditional blues sound to it. So we have this bend off the flat 7 of E, which is within, again, our E minor box. And we go into that sort of skip over of the blues. Very cool stuff. And then the mother of all licks. So it's a really cool sweep. It's based off E major 7. And the bottom of the sweep, it's really cool. It shows you how they're pretty much going up the same arpeggio, but we're moving into a higher section of the neck, so we can finish on that G sharp 3rd, which leads us to the 5th of E, which is the B. So musically, it's awesome, man. Overall, I'm gonna put this definitely in the S tier. This is definitely a hard solo. The next solo we're going to be looking at is Guitar Loneliness and Blue Planet. I think the interesting thing with this solo is it's sort of an embellishment of the lead riff. So really cool. Again, we're just starting in that minor pentatonic positions. And that's not a Bocchi thing. I mean, most rock solos start within the minor pentatonic box 1 or however you want to think about it. So it's just like a traditional rock riff with a bend in the trills, but I like how it leads into the tremolo picking. It sort of builds this bit of tension that explodes on the top note. And then reverts back to that familiar So it's definitely the easiest solo out of the three we've seen so far. But I like it. I think it's very appropriate for the song, and it helps bring it to a nice climax at the end, breaking away from sort of the poppy nature of the track and having this rock section to finish up. I think I'm gonna put this one in the C tier list. Now you might be thinking, C tier, dude, this song is so difficult, but just comparing it to the first two, I think if you have any experience playing rock solos or rock guitar, this should be pretty easy to put together. And the last solo we're going to be looking at is the infamous If I Could Be a Constellation solo. Now I reacted to this in my last video, but I still very stupidly learned the solo on the album. And I realized only while editing my last video, and you guys let me know in the comments as well, that she did break a string in that scene. And it makes like way more sense why she sort of panicked, went on the ground, and then decided to just rip out the slide. Because the original solo, you definitely need your E string. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a slide at the moment, so I'm just going to play this solo using my whammy bar and I'll try replicate it. Now, it's obviously not the same as playing a real slide, but to me it still sounds cool and it's good practice anyway. Now, for any Pacifica players who are Bocchi fans, or if you play a Strat, I definitely would recommend maybe try the solo that way and familiarize yourself getting used to modulating pitches using your whammy bar. Get some very awesome Jeff Beck sounding stuff out of it. Now that solo, although I didn't play with the slide, based on, my experience and how I think it would be, I'll probably put it in the B tier. Even maybe, low A tier, high B tier. It's a bit hard to say, but it's just so much phrasing is involved. Like, that's one thing I recommend to any sort of newer guitarists who may be watching this video. Spend a lot of time on phrasing, anyone can just play it. But even without using the whammy bar, just getting the dynamics down, it's tricky and it takes a lot of time because it is really based off feeling and, expressing the music and all that mumbo jumbo stuff. Alright guys, so there's my list in terms of easiest to most difficult solos from Bocchi The Rock performances. I know there's also a fifth one of that band where they're on the street, but it's pretty much the same solo except for some extra tremolo picking. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think I was right with my picks? Do you think I was wrong? Did I maybe put some too high or some too low? Let me know what your list would be. Alright guys, thanks so much. Have a good week and I'll see you all next time guys. Have a good one.